Hi, my name's Dee, and welcome to Sunchild Tarot, and welcome to your new moon reading for the sign in the title below. Because it's a bulk introduction, which you don't have to watch every time, because I would say you really want to watch three of these. You want to watch your sun sign, which is the I am, your rising sign, which is how you are presenting to the world, what is happening in the outer world for you, and you want to watch your moon sign because, of course, it's the moon. It's a new moon. Of course, your moon sign would be relevant. Now, I'm not going to go in for long about the astrology of the new moon. There are plenty of astrologers who have done it far better than I ever could, and all of their shows are posted on my Facebook page for this channel, which link down below in the description. So if you're wanting to know about the astrology of it, you have plenty of astrologers to choose from on there. Suffice to say, it's big. It's a big full moon. There is a stellium in Aquarius. So what have we got? We've got Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn, with Saturn ruling, in Aquarius. Now, it is not the age of Aquarius. I don't care what various people say. It is not the age of Aquarius, and as I've said before, the age of Aquarius will not begin until tropical, i.e. Western traditional 0 degrees Aries, is the same position as sidereal Aquarius. At the moment, it isn't. 0 degrees Aries is sidereally some of 22, 21, 22, maybe 23 degrees Pisces. So there's a while yet. I think that's right. I think it's there's a 22 involved in there somewhere. But anyway, it's in Pisces. It is not in Aquarius. However, this is a really big time of Aquarius, and there's no shaking that. We have numerous planetary synodic cycles starting. Let me bring my details up. So we've got just this week alone, and there's been a fair amount over the past few weeks, but just this week alone, I mean, bear in mind, this is all under the Great Conjunction. But we have a new Venus-Saturn cycle starting. Obviously, a new Sun-Moon, but that's a monthly one. A new Sun-Mercury, that's quite frequent. A Venus-Jupiter synodic cycle starting, Mercury-Venus cycle, and Mercury-Jupiter. So, it's very much, this is a new time coming in. Without a shadow of a doubt, there's all these new, some of those were that's all a lot of the personal planets, the inner planets. So they're small cycles, but we've just had all the massive big cycles, Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, Jupiter, Saturn, I should say, Saturn, Pluto as well. So we know they all restarted before Christmas. Before Christmas? I think they were all before Christmas. I should know that off by heart, shouldn't I? I talked about every single one of them. Now, there is a timestamp below, so you don't have to watch this repeatedly. You only have to watch this on the first reading. It's well worth it. What I want to look at is the angels, the degree angels. Now, I never thought I'd going to be an angel person. But the degree angels are the Kabbalistic angels, who are very traditional, mighty and terrible. So, of course, I'm drawn to them like a moth to a flame. Now, this new moon, 23 degrees Aquarius, that's ruled by Menadel, who most people will be glad to know that he's great for job seeking. So if the economy and the virus and all the economy crash and what have you has affected you, now is a great time to ask for some help in job seeking and redesigning what you want to do next, because that's a lot of this Aquarius stuff. It will exhibit in community with an independent streak, which may sound like a bit of an oxymoron, but I think I've got my head around that idea. Um, so you, a lot of it is internal right now that you will be later putting into practice. But that is, so Menadel, let me bring up my details here. You'll have to forgive me, I am referring to notes. I don't know all this off by heart. Menadel, as a degree angel, is seen as fearless and presiding over inner and outer work. And there's definitely this theme of the inner and the outer work going on with everything, everything that I've been looking at to do with this. Now, Menadel has been active. Let's have a look. Menadel was active last March and April, which I think was, let me just double check this. I think that was Uranus. Yep, with Uranus at 5 degrees Taurus. And then there was obviously Mars arrived at 5 degrees Taurus in January. And now Menadel is ruling 23 degrees Aquarius. Those rulerships don't change. I know the way I phrase that, it makes it sound like they do change, but no, they don't change. Now, Menadel here is like everybody being ruled by Saturn, so being ruled in this case by Luvia. Saturn is the ruler of this chart. If you do rulership chains, everything leads back to Saturn, mainly because everything's in Aquarius. Of course, I'm using ancient rather than modern rulerships there. You could say everything also goes back to Uranus, but Saturn and Uranus are in square to one another anyway, and that is the flavour of this year. That tension, that tradition versus independence. Now, Luvia is all about dialing God and expansive intelligence or fruition, although I couldn't find any more information out from the Dictionary of Angels because he's not in there, or she's not in there. But what I actually want to look at is Mahasya. Now, Mahasya rules 22 degrees Capricorn. So as you know, that had a lot of activity this last year. So today, or rather on the new moon, Mahasya is ruling the North Node. So is being ruled by astrologically the angel Rael, who is representing Mercury, or Mercury's degree, but again, then in Aquarius, ruled by Saturn, therefore ruled by Luvia in this chart. Now, Rael is about removing hatred, liberation. Rael helps to remove obstacles and impediments and to live in a universe without boundaries. Now, if that is not an Aquarius flavour, I don't know what is. So that also is just that one step less abstract than what Luvia is about. Luvia literally seems like it's channeling the divine plan that down into a way that not that we can understand, because we're never going to be able to understand that, but at least that something may be able to understand it. But Marcia, as I said, was in control of 22 degrees Capricorn. So last year, that's Menadel's history I'm looking at. Last year, Pluto was there. Jupiter crossed over it. Mars crossed over it very, very briefly. And basically, Mahasya was busy going from the 1st of January last year, because that's where my records start, that I've got programmed into my database. Then it was active from the 1st of the year to the 19th of January. From the 16th of March through to the 21st, again in July for a couple of days, then 5th and the 6th, and then the 10th of July, all the way through, and this will be through Pluto, Oh no, all the way through to the end of November, again on Christmas Day, again on New Year's Eve, I notice, and then, okay, my records aren't complete, but that's what I've managed to dig out so far. Mahasea has been doing a lot of work with the energies of Pluto, with, as that energy of Pluto was deconstructing and doing what Pluto does, Mahasea was adding her flavour to it. Then Jupiter crosses over, giving that boost to the Mahasea vibration. Then Mars. So giving that kick in the pants to the things that had already been set up. And now the North Node. This has all been constructing stuff regarding our density. Well, yeah, our density, if you speak New Age hippie stuff, but our destiny. Deconstructing things, reconstructing things, building things, changing structures, removing and rebuilding structures ready for this whole new time. Now, what is Mahasea's vibration? So Mahasea is about healing and rectification, setting things right. He's a seraph. He's part of the Sephirah of Kether, so that the highest Sephiroth, and he answers to Metatron, and he's a fire, represents fire. And planetary angels are Neptune and the Sun. His name means Saviour God, apparently. So this is what everything is slowly being built up. Hopefully that's expressing in all of us and all of our lives, where this Mahasea's energy is creating, building and moving and getting us to a place that is going to be better. That's the hope. I mean, obviously, it's reliant upon our cooperation to this, with this, and our openness to it. But it is really the way his focus has shifted from smashing things to now, okay, destiny, this way, I think is really quite beautiful. Now, what other information have I got about Mahasea here? He re-establishes the order of the divine in your life, makes it possible to live in total peace and joy, and to enjoy the simple things in life, and can help you into schools of learning where you can pursue forms of initiation. Now, that peacemaking energy is going to be very, very useful, because there's also all the divisions are being highlighted to us, but they are being highlighted because of this healing process. Now, what I want to look at is the symbols for 23 degrees Aquarius. So I'm going to start with the Sabian symbol, which is a man turning his back on passion and teaching from his own experience. So this is talking about someone who has been fighting their good fight, whatever it is, or having their obsession, and then all of a sudden they're suddenly going, I've learned so much from this, I have to pass this knowledge on. So they're transferring from, to be facile, but it would work in today's culture, from being an active social justice warrior to training active social justice warriors, would be one way of looking at it. I mean, you could replace active social justice warrior with carpenter, and oh no, that's still got that vibe, hasn't it? Okay, plumber, and it can, the message still holds true, but there's this sharing of information, this allowing those who don't know to find out and know, which I think, especially after focusing more on setting things right, we're going to need to know how to do lots and lots and lots of things. But what is really interesting is the inside degree, or the Chandra symbol. So we have a large brown bear picking and eating apples. It's like, okay, yeah, what? But the interpretation of this, I'm just going to read it straight out because you'll see why when I get towards the end of it. Gross indulgence and a conscience that just won't quit, saturating your energy field with exaggerated gestures of capitulation to your own lower nature. But you do this in a continual ironic juxtaposition to an observing intelligence and a keen conscience which deplore and have no use for your own shenanigans. So you're literally stuffing your face with chocolate while another bit of your brain is going, why are you eating all of that chocolate? It's not going to do you any good. So being split between the compulsive and addictive personality and the dispassionate and icily removed consciousness, you're trying to turn yourself around by alternately binging and reforming, a bit like crash dieting. But each binge triggers a reaction of the other side of mind, and each renunciation and reformation in turn triggers a further reaction from the first piece of mind. This dialectic between being bad and being good is all on the pro and con level of the dualistic mind. The only hope in this pattern lies in wearing out both ends, so that a third place can open up in which neither acting out nor becoming exemplary is all that's necessary. You do what you do, and you see it the way that you see it. And all of the self-conscious overlays and each and every self-manipulation in whatever direction dissolve when the space is clear. So I know that I've mentioned on previous videos about how very divided we are in society nowadays. It doesn't matter where in the world that you look, there is divisions rampant, whether you want to say Democrat, Republican, Brexiteer, Remainer, look at Myanmar. But this energy, that symbol, that idea of wearing out both sides while we are learning how to do things better, because those who have a time to teach now are led to actually teach and teach everybody else, you know, whether it is how to get in touch with your angels and how to get in touch with God, or how to sort out a septic tank and sort out your plumbing, or carve a chair, or recycle whatever, or change the way that you're fishing, farming, hunting, what have you. All of these things, the very structure of our economy, as we know with the virus, is under question at the moment. And so there is going to be, and there is already to a certain extent, if you look at the right websites and email newsletters and what have you, a absolute cacophony of good ideas about how to move forward. All of this under the watchful eye of Luvia, who, let me see, what was the phrase again? Who has an expansive intelligence, brings things to fruition, and knows how to dial God. You know, so I would say that in itself is a superpower, you know. So if you if you are a fixed sign, oh, I've forgotten, where's my cheat sheet? Aquarius, let's have a look. I don't want to say it because I don't want to get it wrong. And it's not on my, fixed signs. Here you are, Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, or Scorpio. On a basic mundane day-to-day level, you can expect to get affected by this stellium through conjunction, through square, through opposition. But pretty much it's going to affect all of us. This is a global thing. The last time this sort of stellium in Aquarius occurred was in 1962. And we know how pivotal the 60s were for creating a shift in our society, even if things seem to have shifted back since then. So if you are familiar with your chart, if you know your rising sign, and if you don't, there is a link, well, there's two links in the description down below for where to get a free birth chart. Have a look which house Aquarius sits in for you. I use whole sign houses, if that means anything to you. So for me, it's all in the 8th house. Or if you go by my sun sign, it's all in my 12th house. Oh, I'm expecting plenty of revelations coming along. And I must admit, my astrology studies have been just going, well, my degree angel studies, let's put it that way. I keep having moment after moment of, oh, I can do it this. Oh, I didn't think of looking at that. Oh, and what does this mean if I look at this? So there's like revelation after revelation already. And the new moon isn't even here yet. But there's whichever house you Aquarius is for you, that's where you can expect quite a bit of activity. If you've got natal planets in that area, opposite to that area, or basically in the cardinal signs, that will this stellium will have an immense personal effect. And again, that all sounds like random things, but go to the link AstroSeek or Cafe Astrology in the description down below, and get yourself a birth chart, and hopefully you'll make more sense of if what I'm saying sounds a little obscure, because I'll hold my hand up. I'm only just starting to understand the houses in this last 6 months. Before then, I was just like, I don't know what they're talking about. Right, so I've done the saving symbol. I'm just checking my notes. So remember, this reading is a general reading. So general reading rules apply. It should mainly be there as a confirmation for you, or just something for you to mull over. What I would, never make your mind up on what I say. Just take it under advisement and then consider it, and then make your mind up, but don't just do it because I said do it. Even though I have already done a reading for this new moon where I'm telling somebody to just do it. But, it's still your choice, not mine. Now, what I would like you to do beforehand is ask a question. So especially really with this, ask a question that relates to how you interact with your community, or relates to obviously new moon, new beginnings, or entire new directions of life, because it's such a big event. This, unlike last year where it was event after event after event, this year, this is the pretty much biggest one. And other than Saturn square Uranus, but that's going on all year. So, there isn't like a whack bang like there is with this one. So take a moment, think about all of the questions that are around you. Focus on one of them, but be aware of all of them, because the cards will answer whatever they choose, and not necessarily what you or I think are the most priority of questions. So, as ever, please do the good YouTube stuff. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Subscribing to the channel really, really does help. Then again, so does the like button. But more importantly, comment. Let me know once I get to the reading, what you, if the reading is good for you. But also let me know what you think about my view of looking at the degree angels for the astrology, because, well, I'm going to keep doing it because I find it absolutely fascinating. But I want to know, should I just shut up about it and do it in private, or should I continue talking about this stuff as I get to learn more? Because, again, hold my hand up, I'm a total beginner at this. So, I think that's everything. So timestamp will be for now. And let's get on and have a look at your cards. Okay, Aquarius, and as you'd imagine, if you are Aquarius rising, this entire stellium and new moon is indeed in your first house. How people see you and how you present yourself to the world. And that is very much an issue in these cards. Now, I want to make a few things clear here. I think this might be another telling off reading, Aquarius. I do apologize. And if you're Aquarius Sun, it might be worth taking this even more on board, because it's not even so much how other people are seeing you, it's how you are seeing you, which is something that you can work on. But we have... Now, I'm going to start with the Oracle cards, and then I'll explain where I'm going. Excuse me. So we start with, it's time to release negativity and a personal issue reaches resolution. First one being the main card. Then we have balance. Now, this theme of balance is throughout the reading, because we also have temperance on the bottom of the clarification deck. And then Eos with dawn. There's a new beginning coming. Oh, surprise, there's a new beginning. But of course there is with a stellium in your sign in your first house. The strength card here is a reminder that whatever you're facing right now, you have the strength to get through it. Simple as. So this is not the world abandoning you. This is not the world being mean and nasty to you. You are only being given right now what you can deal with, and therefore depending on the severity of your situation, it may well be that you are an iron being forged in the fire. Then we have Chesed, empathy. There's somewhere here that you need to reach out to others, or at least see where others are coming from, and I'll get to that in another moment. Finally, we have the guardian angel of young love. I accept love with gratitude. I am opened and made whole by its beauty. Now, bear in mind what I just said. For Aquarius rising, this could be love from another person. For Aquarius sun, this could easily be love for yourself. Aquarius moon, you'll get learning to love what your feelings are. So something is being set right at the moment. On the bottom of the primary deck is the Justice card. Now, I remember a lot of the readings last year, you were in less than a good space with your relationships with others. I'm not saying you were in a bad space, although there were readings where you were, but it was more to do with relationships with others. And this is seen here with the Five of Wands clarified by the Five of Wands. Plenty of heated debate, argument, debate. It's almost like debate that led to argument, debate that led to somebody going, "We'll stuff you then." And there's that real sort of, the argument itself created a reaction of, yeah, literally stuff you then. That's what you think, and that's what you think of what I think. Well, you know what you can do with the horse you rode in on. So, Spirit here is bringing in the point that, look, you won. You won. You won. Simple as that, you won. Five of Swords. A very, very victorious Five of Swords. And it does look there like you might be reaching out to someone, like you're going, "Hey, look what I've got." And that other person is walking away going, "Yeah, I can see damn well what you got. Thank you very much. And I don't want to know anymore." So there's that same attitude of that, "Well, stuff you then." But this Chesed, this empathy bit, there seems to be a hint that you're needing to reach out to others in some way, shape or form and try and figure out how they feel and why they feel. It may not be the person that you had the argument with. It may be that you are looking at all people the same way that you are looking at the person you had the argument with. But you won. You can stop worrying about it now. You've got more important things to balance, more important things to take care of. Because I do get that you're still feeling all fighty. So for how you are feeling at the moment, Knight of Swords and Five of Swords, far less cheerful Five of Swords than the one that Spirit was bringing in. There's this sense of maybe I've beaten that one and I'll come on, who's next? Come on, who's next? And might I posit that maybe that's not the best way to approach everybody? Because there's somebody who thinks you're the bee's knees here. And I really love this just from the clarification deck, the swoop up this, what I call the personal column, because I can see a time progression in it, or you are racing towards becoming a new version of you right now. You are being called to level up and you are being called to look within. Page of Pentacles. So if you watch my readings, you know I call this card level 1 complete, move on to level 2, where you're a beginner again. But you're on level 2. This is clarified by the Hermit, who's here delving into some form of arcane runic mystery. Or a Viking grave, whichever. Not quite sure they had gravestones, though. So you are now being called to both look within and without. Look within yourself and have some empathy towards yourself, but also look without and just notice that no matter that you're still feeling all fighty, that not everybody was the person that you was having the argument with. And it's quite possible that the person that you was having an argument with, you may discover reason just to mellow out towards them a little bit. I mean, from what I remember of the readings last year, yes, I know what they did. Well, I mean, I don't, but I do, but some of those arguments were maybe not as important now as what they were then, if that makes sense. And look, you've got the Hermit. So looking at this final, we're ending on a new beginning. We're ending on the Ace of Pentacles. We're ending on a firm new beginning. But what worries me is that it's clarified by the Five of Pentacles, where someone is taking shelter and looking quite miserable. But let's remember that they are taking shelter. And they have shelter. So yeah, it's raining, but they've got shelter. So the rain will pass. There's also this sense of this new beginning doesn't come with like, it's not a new job because there's no wage check attached, or if there is, it's negligible. So it's bare subsistence. But I think that this guy in here is missing the point that he's underneath a massive magic mushroom. Or he's one of the people, one of the little people, which means he should remember that he's one of the little people, and that's Ace. So there is a new beginning, but it's not going to reveal itself materially in the most financially happy of ways to start off with. But I don't feel bad about that new beginning at all, because this is not the fight that you were fighting, it's the fight that you wanted, that whole sense of building something up, that Aquarius and independence. Now, what is an obstacle to you at the moment that you're still feeling sore about all this fight that you went through? By the looks of it, Wounded Warrior card, 9 of Wands, clarified by the 8 of Cups. Maybe there's something that you walked away from where you threw the baby out with the bathwater. That's what I'm tempted to say. Um, but as you are being called to level up, and yes, you've got to balance multiple priorities at the moment, and you may even find yourself being in a caring role. But it's weird, this 8 of Swords, I'm not getting anxiety from it. I'm not getting that normal sense of transmutation from it. They just feel like extras on a creature horror flick. But they may well be the stars, and they may well survive the entire flick, the entire movie. The 8 swords around are at once a threat and menacing, and just highlighting where the beauty is. Everything's very, very double-edged. That's why there's this 2 of Pentacles here. And I think this is what you are coming into an awareness of, or being driven into an awareness and an understanding of, because everything is double-edged. I may even call the reading that, because that's the important thing. There is the good, there is the bad, and somewhere along the line there's the need to synthesize it. Now that's a burden. That's a burden to take on, but taking on that burden creates a whole new beginning. So Ace of Pentacles here, that's the future card, the final outcome card. This is a future card. I've always read the Celtic Cross backwards before you ask. Most people, that would be the past, that would be the future. I've always put the past on the inside and the future on the outside. So, hey ho. But yes, there is a burden for you to take on that opens up a whole new beginning for you. And as I say, it's not financially a spectacular beginning, but it feels right. It feels right to me anyway, looking at these cards. You know, I'm not saying, and it feels right as well because of Eos here, Dawn. Have we got any more transition cards? Not really. But the personal issue reaches resolution, and Eos, there is a new day dawning. There's a new day dawning where you may have to restrain some of your more fighty impulses, because I mean, look at them too. They do seem quite strong at the moment, but I think Spirit is definitely coming in saying, look, you've won. And there is someone around you that has a lot of faith in what you can accomplish. Knight of Chalices here, possibly a love offer coming, or someone presenting an idea towards you that they really want you to love that idea. And what may block you is a sense of it's not as independent as I'd like. It's not as, get this to it, saying to an Aquarius, but it's not as traditional as I would like. But, and I'm not sure where this is coming from, I get the feeling that you can exhibit the traditional values that you are wanting to exhibit through the vehicle of this idea that is offered to you. And yeah, it's going to be hard work. Yeah, you're taking on a burden. Yeah, you're going to be skinned for a while. Oh well, it is the right thing to do, and it feels... That's another thing I could call this reading, the right thing to do. It feels good. It feels like you're making a firm, solid foundation. So if you want all the, if you want to chase after the big bucks later, fine. This is not the big bucks now. But this is, I've just got in my head, building the counting house. So you don't want the counting house when you need to put stuff in the counting house. You want the counting house ready. There is a really good invitation coming up for you, as long as you stop being quite so fighty. That's the best that I can see there, Aquarius. So go and watch Moon and Rising. Obviously, do all the good YouTube stuff, like, share, subscribe, comment if this means anything to you. Also, I forgot to say, being an Aquarius reading, there is also another channel who specializes in Aquarius called Diamond in the Rough Tarot. Go check her out, which is great. Okay, so yeah, see you on your Moon or Rising. Cheers.